What's up, guys? We are back, Fitness Profit Multiplier, here with another jam-packed episode to help you gain more profit in your fitness business. It's Anthony Bevilacqua alongside Jimmy McCurry, or should I do one of these like side points because you're going to shift to the side?
Yeah,
But here we are. We're here today, man. So today we're going to be talking about how 6-week challenges are dead and you should be doing this instead. And I love this topic because it seems like the fitness industry is synonymous with 6-week challenge. I run a personal training studio, and that's just kind of what it is. You do a 6-week challenge. And I don't even know where a 6-week challenge came from, because technically, if you want to transform somebody's life, it should realistically be at least 12 weeks. Because if you go back in time when we started lifting, bodybuilding days, it's a 12-week prep right into the show. So where everyone got 6 weeks from, I don't know. But I want to talk about how they're dead and what you should do instead. And the shift that, well, I've never really did any upfront challenges anyway, but the shift that I told Jimmy to make that has helped him become more profitable and end up making more money on the back end. But Big Jimmy, man, you excited to talk about 6 weeks, 6-week challenges?
6-week challenges. The gift that kind of doesn't quite give you what you thought it would. You know, it's like you hear all these, there's a lot of promises and a lot of chatter about challenges and front end offers and you know, to be quite frank, front end offers work, but there's a better way to do it and there's other ways that you can slice it. So it doesn't have, just because you don't have a front end offer or you don't have a challenge of not mean that you won't be successful, because we've done it with and we've done it without. So you may hear, oh, you need a front end offer, you need to convert them, you need to do this, that, and the other thing. And it may not be all it's cracked up to be, right? You can try different things in your business and you have the freedom to do that. So just because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing 6-week challenges and you're like, well, that's the play we got to run because that's what's working, because it's the offer that works. You don't have to, and you don't even have to sell the client the same offer that they came into your gym for, which is also kind of funny, right? You can offer one thing and sell them something completely different, because half the time they don't even read your copy anyway. So, but I'll talk a little bit about my experience in my facility with front end offers, not using front end offers, conversion, all that kind of stuff. So we used to run front end offers, and that was our end all be all of what we did, right? We were like, okay, we run this front end offer, whether it's a 4-week, a 6-week, whatever it may be. In the beginning of our fitness business, we would do that. And we did that for many, many, many years, right? It wasn't till after all the pandemic stuff and we kind of got back open and resettled that we stopped using it, right? But we used it for a long time, and that was the model, right? My co-host here had never run a front end, and I was like, dude, just run a front end, it'll help your conversion, you'll get some money on the front from these people. He goes, no, it's fine, it works. And it did work, and it worked for him. And our businesses were basically even. Like, I remember one year we were doing a revenue calc, and we at the end of the year, and I think Anthony had made like $9,000 more than me or something like that one year. And I was like, but this guy's doing something different than I'm doing, and it's the same. So why is it? And that got me thinking about it. And I'm like, And then I didn't do anything about it. I kept my challenges in there, right? Kept them running. And what I found was back then, we were running challenges plus a year commitment membership, right? So you'd have the client come in, you'd have them do their challenge, and throughout their challenge, they'd have an unlimited access to the facility, they'd have a lot more perks, all this stuff. And then you come back around, you have a second meeting with them, which gums up your whole system, right? And then you try and close them on a year commitment after the first month or after the first 6 weeks, right? What we realized when we switched is our revenue even though our retention rate changed a little, right? Because historically we had a 4%, 4 or 5% retention rate. Now our retention rate, or excuse me, our attrition rate, we had a 4 to 5% attrition rate for many years. And then we have now a 6, sometimes 7% attrition rate. But when we made this switch, our revenue went up 10 grand a month, right? So why is that though? So let's break down why the revenue is higher, since I'm no longer committing people to full years and I'm no longer doing a front end offer.
Well, there's a couple things I want to break down before you talk about that, because you said a couple of different things there. So here's the reason why, and I'm going to cut you off and we'll come back to that. So here's the reason why I've never run a challenge up front and then selling them into continuity. So again, it doesn't matter how you kind of break the business down, right? Whether you want to sell month to month or 12-month contracts is something that we're going to talk about in a later episode as well. But the initial part, the thing that I don't like about this whole thing is that you have to sell the person twice. So what that means is you're selling them up front. So you're selling them on whatever it is, the X challenge, 8-week, 12-week, 4-week, whatever the challenge is. You're selling them on the challenge. Now, once you've sold them on the challenge, you have to deliver during that time. And then you have to get them in again for another meeting to sell them on long-term commitment. I like the whole idea of selling them once and that's it. And again, it doesn't matter if you're selling them into a 12-month program, 1-month program, doesn't matter. We'll discuss that at a later point. But now you're only selling them once. And I'm going to explain, again, we'll do this on a later episode, why we like month to month, but we'll talk about that later. But you're eliminating, and like Jimmy said, it kind of gums up your system, but you're eliminating a second sales meeting. So by I'm getting people excited up front. We're doing a 4-week challenge, 6-week challenge. But now you have to sell that person again. So if that person has a bad experience that first 6 weeks, let's say they just have a rough start to everything, right? So they have a rough start. Maybe they don't get results. It takes them a while to get started. Now you're sitting down with them having another meeting and they're like, well, I didn't get results in the 6 weeks. They're not going to look back at what they did, right? They're just, I didn't get any results in 6 weeks. So they're going to end up not signing up because they just didn't get the results. So you're putting barriers in there that don't necessarily need to be in there. Now, same thing. Now you also have to chase somebody down for that second meeting. So you have to chase them down to sign them up again. And there's a bunch of ways you could do it. You could also have them roll into continuity. But the point is that if you impose a deadline in the beginning, the person's going to fix that deadline on what they have. Because someone comes in on a 6-week challenge, yes, I'm going to get in shape in 6 weeks. And again, a good trainer will explain to them that, yes, you can get good results in 6 weeks, but you need to, sustain that and blah, blah, blah. But in their mind, they already have 6 weeks in their head. So I don't like the idea of having to sell them twice and having to do that meeting twice. And I think that that's where a lot of people lose it with the 6-week challenge or whatever, any front end type offer. And the second thing that I want to talk about, and I want Jimmy to talk about this too, because he did this. A lot of gurus out there will tell you need to run a front end, whatever it is, 6-week, whatever challenge, at a discount. You need to run a 6-week challenge for half the price that you normally would run it and give them everything, give them the kitchen sink, let them see the value. And then you got to sit down with them again for another sales meeting and you're selling them double the price of what the membership is. So if you sold them $199 up front for a 6-week challenge, unlimited, this, that, and the third, the kitchen sink. Now you're like, okay, well, Mrs. Jones, if you want to stay, it's $500. Big disparity there in what they're going to get because they're rooted to that first number that you're pitching them and selling them on. So Jimmy, why don't you talk about that a little bit? Talk about how, because that was one thing that we changed with you very early on.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, when I first, there's 2 things you'll hear from some coaches and some gurus out there, right? Some of them have it right, but some of them don't. And having it wrong is, I've worked with some coaches in the past and they're like, oh, it's Black Friday. You should discount the hell out of everything, right? Oh, sell them a $99 front end or a $59 front end, something ridiculous, right? The problem is if somebody comes in and they are willing to part with $60, $100, $200, and your main program is $500, you're getting the wrong avatar at the beginning, because the people that want to spend $500 on their training are going to spend it in the beginning and spend it in the future, right? They're looking for a place that has that kind of value. But the people that want to spend $100 continuously are looking for a place that has that kind of value. So the type of client,
I actually think that you're better off giving it to them for free versus paying $59 for it.
100%, because you're conditioning them to that money amount. But if you say it's free, but it has a value of X, you're much more likely to convert them, like our free month promotion for referrals that we've talked about on other podcasts, right? Because you give them a cash value that's like, this is what the value of it is, but I'm giving it to you for free because you're a referral of this and that, right? Much better to give them a free month than a legitimate free month, actually free, not fake free, right? Actually free is better than charging $59, right? And I found some old posters in the gym that were like, I put some posters up that was like $59, unlimited, 1 month, This was back in 2015, I think. And I look at those things and I'm like, it's so crazy, because my front end now is like $600, right? Like if we have to downsell them to it, right? Or my most recent front end, right? But when Anthony's talking about gumming up the system, if you have a sales associate on your staff and to hit goal, they need to be running 15 meetings a week, right? Initial meetings. How are they going to plug in 15 additional second meetings for that person to convert them into a continuity program, right?
Exactly.
It makes it very hard because they don't have the time in their schedule. You want to continue to grow, so you have to have a certain cadence of new clients coming in. But if you have to do 2 meetings and convert that next person to convert them. Now, if we're having meetings that are goal setting meetings or maybe supplement sale meetings, things like that, that's a little different, right? Because those are a little more flexible. You can program them in, and that person is already committed longer term. And that's the type of language that you use with that client when they come into your facility. So maybe they're coming in on an offer that you put on Facebook that's a 28-day challenge, right? When you talk to them on the phone, you say, we don't know what's going to be the best fit for you yet. We need to get you into the facility and see what's going to be best. And then you say a specific line that is, so Jenny, you and I both know that it takes longer than 4 weeks to see results, right? Right. So the way that our program works is it's month to month with 30-day notice, cancellation, and we'll get you to your goal by doing X, Y, and Z, right? And you just have to come to terms with the fact that like the challenge is not really what they want. And if you have to downsell to it, you can, right? So briefly, I'll dovetail, and then you can remind me of kind of getting us back on track. But there's a couple of different ways. There's a couple of different ways when you meet with a client and they're not jumping on your month-to-month offer. And Anthony will talk about why we like month-to-month in a bit, but we like it a lot better. So
we're gonna do a whole podcast on that, man. So don't
okay.
Spoil the beans.
Okay. So whatever your offer is, 6 month, month-to-month, year, who cares, right? But when we look at converting a client, you start them on the thing that's going to give them the most lifetime value, right? And technically a year agreement is the most lifetime value, but that's a big barrier, right? So you say, hey, we're going to do whatever it is, your continuity offer, you offer that first. They balk, they kind of hem and haw, this and that. You can downsell it to a front end at that point if you need to, right? But that's more the structure that we're looking at. You downsell it into a front end, and then the very last thing you could do if they're balking, which actually works pretty well for us, believe it or not. If they're balking at a trial, you say, how about we schedule you for a free workout? You schedule them for the free workout, they come in, your staff is trained to close them at the end of that free workout into one of your offers, right? And it works, right? If somebody's really balking and they really have an objection that's kind of like more of them being unsure about how they're going to do in the workout and they're a little scared and this and that. Give them one free workout and then you can close them on the back end of that workout, as opposed to front end offer, second meeting, gumming up your whole system and moving forward with it. Now,
but what you're saying right now, Jimmy, that's different, right? That's to close the deal, right? That's
to close the deal,
but
it's different. It's not what you're coming out with, right?
Right.
It's definitely not, because what you're coming out with is whatever your continuity offer is. You come out with that, guns a-blazing out of the gate, right? And right now you might be thinking, well, my offer, I built my offer is so good that I want to stick with my offer when they come in. There's nothing wrong with selling something different, right?
Yeah. And you said it the best, man. I mean, and I've had a lot of leads come through. You've had a lot of leads come through. When people, and I have a lot of software actually that I look at that monitors what goes on my website. So if someone hits my website, I can watch what they do. People do not read the copy. They glance. They glance the copy. They look at the image. This looks interesting. Opt in. That's what they do. They don't even remember what it is. And think about it, guys. And I know I'm guilty of this too. You're probably sitting there thinking, no, they know it's a 6-week challenge. And I've challenged Jimmy on this before too, because he had the same idea. Well, that's not what I'm running. But they don't remember. Think about it. When you pick up the phone and you call them, if you do that, if you listen to our other episodes, hopefully you are. But if you pick up the phone, who's this? What's this in regard? Where are you located? They don't even remember anything. So at that point, you're just selling them right into your program. So the point of this whole episode is to not gunk up your sales system and have to sell people twice. Because like I said, if their initial period, 4 week, 6 week, 8 week, 12 week, 24 week, whatever your initial program is, if you don't deliver the results that they expect in their mind during that time, they are not going to close on that second meeting. Or let's say even, other scenarios, and Jimmy has had this happen to him before, they can't get a hold of the person for the second meeting. They don't show up to the second meeting. Remember, now they got to show up to the second meeting because they know at that point, hey, my membership is almost up. I'm going to have to sign up. And remember, our clients are not us. They don't want to be at the gym. They don't want to be there. They don't want to work out. And they're looking for any excuse to not buy. So now you're putting another barrier in front of them to block them from doing it. So if you have a 12-week program that you sell, a year-long program that you sell them right into it. And then like Jimmy said, if you need to, then you back them into something else. All right, Mrs. Jones, our program is usually 12 months. If that's not something that you want to do, we have a month-to-month option here. Boom, that's it. You sell them once and you get them in and you put them through the regular system. Stop making things harder for yourself by selling twice, because that's essentially what you have to do. So take our advice. Remember, we want you to make more profit. And the only way to make more profit is to make more money. If you put barriers in front of people, it's not going to happen. So that's that. 6-week challenges are dead. Don't sell them. Do that instead. Sell them right into your continuity offer. Again, you could make your ad 6-week program, 4-week program, whatever it is, but use that as a back end to sell them just in case. Trust us, they won't remember. And if you guys are interested in getting your business to the next level, just make sure you click that link below and sign up for your discovery call where you can get on the phone with either one of us, and we're going to go through your business and see how we can help you get to that next level. So Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier, and we are out.